Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I can hear the angels in heaven singing right now. They're rejoicing. That's amazing. Stay with the silent prayer. Speak up, don't resent, and doubt every thought. And Aaron, you have not seen anything. Anything. We have a counseling service, and I have to admit, thanks to God, it is the best counseling service on this side of heaven. I counsel with men and women, families, individuals around the world. Most people are unhappy, they're miserable, they have rough lives, they're depressed, suicidal, young and old, of all races. I understand, I know why, and I do understand it. Because exactly what's happening in me is happening with everybody outside of me, inside of them. And I've noticed that with those who really, really, really want to understand, they overcome it just like that, out of one counseling session. If you need counseling, you can go to rebuildingaman.com or call 800-411-2663. 800-411-BOND. Best counseling service on this side of heaven. Now, I totally disagree with the way things are going, but you can't be angry because that's what the enemy wants. He wants to control you. They do things to make you mad so they can control you. It's like being married. And the wife would do things to make you mad, or she'll do things to make you feel good. And men do that to women too when they want something from the woman, especially sex. They'll make her feel good or they'll make her angry. And the woman's gonna have to say, you don't wanna be angry. You wanna speak up, you wanna disagree with what's going on, it's wrong, but do not be angry. Then you won't have fear, you won't have doubt, you won't have worries, you'll be able to see, but you gotta stay away from anger. That's why you must forgive your mothers and your fathers so that you can overcome the spirit of anger. It's a spirit and it's wicked. Nothing good in anger because it has no love, folks. You need love to defeat evil. And love is not a weakness. It's a strength. It's from God. It's His nature. Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room,
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border. And then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on America's soil. So he became the anchor baby. They don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thank you for tuning in on this fine Thursday. It's a fine Thursday to have all of you back here today because we got a bit of a show. And my stream is off. Hold on. Welcome, everybody. We're live. No, YouTube does this often. Welcome to the show, folks. I got a bit of a show for you. I mean, plenty to get into, honestly. Human nature is on display like crazy right now. In many ways, so details on Minneapolis, commentary on some of the stuff on JLP show that I was fascinated on, and a number of things to get into. Look, It really is on display. During Men's History Month, you hear about the men suing. We're going to have to maybe learn about that together. They're suing over some abortion stuff. But that'll be later. There's all this, the deranged writings of this shooter have been revealed in some of the reporting that I was doing on the show yesterday has basically been confirmed. It's robbed an individual. Their writings and some of the stuff on that. Look, it's an insane world. It really is. It's crazy. But welcome to the show. It's you can call in if you got something on your mind, something you want to talk about. That's 888-775-3773. You could definitely call in. Get on hold. We'll get to you. And look, appreciate all my viewers here. Appreciate it. Welcome. Time for a new one, Nico. Maybe, yeah. Did you catch the new footage on the JLP intro? We might need we definitely need maybe some footage for the anchor baby. Not live on Rumble. So let's first deal with the housekeeping here. Let's say hello to the people on Rumble. Something went wrong. Please try again later. Rumble.com/American Anchor Baby is live, I think. Let me know. Hit me up in the chat. Appreciate that. Punchy.tv/Anchor Baby. What can I say? Welcome, everybody. 888-775-3773. And, of course, all my viewers here on YouTube, thank you. Don't be rude. Click the like button. Don't be rude. Get in the chat. Say hello. We're looking at you. Leave a little comment. Maybe you're watching afterwards. Maybe you're watching the show after. We see you, too. Leave a like. Leave a comment. Thank you, man. Appreciate that, Albert. Hey, welcome, everybody. Free and sanctified in the shirt is... Free and sanctified in the chat is loving the shirt. You know, I have a little problem with it, and it's just it's totally intellectual. It says like sinner across. I don't like that. I don't like it, but it's like a cool shirt. Someone gave it to me. It's just I like it. I guess I like it. It's like the shirt itself is nice. Sinner. It just says like sinner. It's like, okay, what are you trying to be cool? Like Jesus is like, yeah, I'm going to be a sinner, but Jesus has me and I'm like sanctified by Jesus, but you know, I'm a sinner and I'm cool. You think Jesus is cool with you being a sinner or something like that? That's kind of what I was thinking, right? That's like my mind about that, which you're allowed to be artistic with. So if I could remove embroidery or something like that, I mean, whatever, it's a cool shirt. Jesus doesn't want you to be a sinner. Don't you see it, right? It's like, oh, I'm gonna like identify with being a sinner, but I have Jesus. Whoa. Is that like all Christians, bro? Is that Christianity? Shout out. We could talk about it. Okay? Don't worry. Thank you, yo mom. I appreciate that. Look, how you doing, people on Rumble? Shouting you out again. Apologies for that. We're not glitching. We've clicked the button. We're rocking and rolling. How you doing, Jules? Peace in the puzzle. And Buddy. Right on, Buddy. Right on, Buddy Guy, pal. Okay. Look, we'll get to all my super chatters and all that. Even the non-pithy coffees. We got time. And we got a show tomorrow, too. So make sure you click and like this, like and subscribe. Hit the notification. You don't want to miss your flight tomorrow. Well, we'll see what we get down with tomorrow. Anyways, welcome everybody. I want to get into, you know what was the first thing I want to get into? It was actually Brandon Johnson. Kind of call it a rerun, but I couldn't help but want to comment on some, just kind of like a comment on some of the wording here. Reveal the story in between. Uncover, right? Uncover what he's really saying. But it's fascinating because there's like a reason why things don't get better. And sometimes it's not what's it called? Exciting, so to speak. Maybe if you're looking for, call it grand conspiracies. I'm not trying to really say anything specific here. But you think blame, hate, and victimhood. Oh, I've heard that one already. But you have this mayor telling the old story, a bit of a tired story. And you think, how does this happen? So he's saying something interesting here, too. He said, I'll let it play, about this is the mayor of Chicago. This guy's not happy that basically Trump is coming to, is saying he hasn't even done anything, is talking about going to Chicago to clean it up. Imagine that. And he says something, an old story, investment. You got to invest in the people. We don't care about what you're talking about. Why won't you invest in us?
As the mayor of this city, I can tell you that Chicagoans are not calling for a military occupation. They are calling for the same thing that we've been calling for some time, and that's investment. What safe cities across America all have in common, they invest in people, and that's what we're doing in Chicago. We need the federal resources to make sure that we're building more affordable housing, expanding mental and behavioral health care, education, all of these things that could reduce crime and provide real community safety. Instead of spending hundreds of millions of dollars for a publicity stunt to invoke chaos and terror, the federal government should spend that money on proven solutions to crime and violence reduction. We cannot incarcerate our way out of violence. We've already tried that, and we've ended up with the largest prison population in the world without solving the problems of crime and violence. The addiction on jails and incarceration in this country, we have moved past that. It is racist, it is immoral, it is unholy, and it is not the way to drive violence down. We cannot return to the same failed strategies that got us here in the first place. Under the previous presidential administration, we requested more federal resources to address gun violence in our city. We continue to make that same call.
I mean, do I need to go through it all? I mean, I almost want to, but it's like, I just want to pause. I just want to pause and comment, right? But, okay, I'm going to go against you guys. You can't control me. I'm going to pause this whenever I want. But look, I don't think, here's the part of what I wanted to say about it is, besides this whole investment thing, right? You kind of know this old story if you've been paying attention, but some maybe don't, and I kind of noticed some don't. You know, there's some who don't know this old story. If I'm saying investment, well, you know, all he's saying there is, wow, you're being racist. You haven't, because look, he said, what do they want to do? Clean it up? Well, okay, bring cops in. He's saying, well, we want this federal funding for the tried and true methods to deal with this crime. You mean like enforcement, like cops? But of course, he doesn't mean that. Of course, it's a whole bunch of lying and fluff, tried and true enforcement. What are you talking about? The answer to that is actual enforcement. So when he's saying investment, it's like, you guys haven't cared about black people. You guys haven't cared because look at the situation they're in, the position they're in, destitute, crime, or whatever. You haven't invested in them. Look at what you did. Look at how you left them. It's always somebody else. This is important. This is about life, about what's happening with everybody. Okay, we're seeing black people right now, and they call me. You guys call me, and you're like, oh, why are you going to talk about black people? Again, but this is deep what's going on, because people I'm seeing already, I'm seeing conservatives on the internet, and they're like, what's going on? J.B. Pritzker. Oh, did I save this link wrong? Because look, you got this governor too, right? J.B. Pritzker. And I saw somewhere online, you know, it shout out, no big. But they were like, this Jewish guy, this Jew, J.B. Pritzker, teaming up with this black guy doing this. I forget what the comment was. I can't pull it up. And I just found, I want to show you something. Please look at this, folks. You think about, how does Brandon Johnson become Brandon Johnson, stay in power, do what he's doing? This is what's happening with the world. Blaming. You got to understand something. This is what they say themselves in the media. Let me just pull this up. Let's get the quote exactly. You see, the black vote was absolutely pivotal. It wasn't just, okay, they just kind of vote for him. Oh, they're usually Democrat. No, they say that the black voters saved his campaign. Okay, they're pivotal in this. Despite opinion polls and the black political establishment against him. That's what the Chicago Crusader writes. Brandon Johnson on a historic day stunned his opponent as he was elected mayor of Chicago, 2023, folks. On the strength of the black vote with strong support from white voters and black elected officials. So there you go. It was black voters who saved Johnson's campaign in a tight runoff election that gained national and global attention. Emerging victorious as the fourth black mayor. I mean, this is just like what's happening, right? People deny, they want to walk around and say it's something else, and then you think to yourself, well, it's just not going to get better. And so that's what's like interesting to say about it, personally. I'm seeing quick commentary on this, like, this is an old one, folks. This is an old story. Did you get bored? Oh, it's some other thing other than the black people themselves, right? Right, the black people themselves, right, believe in all this. Whether JB is a Jew and Johnson's a black, I mean, there may be some commentary there, but where is the truth here? The truth is the black voters saved Brandon Johnson's campaign. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a simple one. Come on. Keeping it simple. I love it. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. I'm getting commentary here. Something's wrong. No, we're live. We're set. We're set. Do you see this? Now, where's the Pritzker clip? It doesn't matter. Who cares? But they're complaining about fixing it up. It's he's saying the tried and true method is to make a place better and all that. I was saying this on Punchy. It's not just like a little thing to care about decency, no trash, people not throwing stuff around, people not breaking traffic laws, putting a shopping cart back, maybe. Now we don't have shopping cart boys anymore, huh? I heard. Putting stuff back. You think, well, no, we don't. Why do you care about policing some traffic laws and I guess some gang members? Why don't you actually invest in us? That is the investment. That is caring. That is the tending to the garden that grows it. Because then the rest is on you. Which then puts a huge spotlight on what's going on with people here. Why are they unable to? Are they unable to? What's happening here? Anyways. So whatever. Brandon Johnson, where was I here? We'll get to all that. Not sure what you mean by that, Scarecrow. Invest in teaching your children how to read. 75% of adult prisoners, 85% of juvenile offenders are functionally illiterate. Invest in education. Invest in the education. Change the rap music. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, if you remember my super chatter, we'll get to that maybe. It sounds like the blacks were sincere. The rap music is making them crazy. But then I'm like, Stand By Me. Remember that one? Well, okay, the blacks were just thinking about different things at that time. Well, shall I rest a case? Did I make one? They had different things on their minds. Other than what? What's on their minds now? Right? Racism. What's on the minds of most people? Well, I guess I don't have anything to say about that. Whatever. But you get it, right? They have this on their minds. I mean, they're out there. Yeah, thank you, Rex. Appreciate that. Exactly, Mayna. It's like it's the most lower base instinct, right? Power grab, maintain power status by mobilizing a big enough crowd. Don't they call it the talented 10th? And that lives on beyond. They'll think for you. These people will think for you. So anyways. Scapegoat theology takes over the mind. That's a good point, Kevin Howe. Reminding us about JLP telling us over time now that the civil rights movement, not just a little thing, an absolute deception, a crime upon America, and the lasting effects. You got to consider the black folks who maybe even call my show, but et cetera, who are older, right? And they've maintained this. There are nowadays, you have younger folks, younger black folks, they'll comment on them. They'll be like, these guys, that's crazy how they stayed in that, stuck. And they'll disagree with them. It's a mess, right? But it's a good thing you bring up. It's this lasting lie, this really a truly lasting lie with vested interests to keep it going. Okay, and then it's the fault of the people just believing it. I know I saw Chad O. Jackson. I was just perusing Instagram. I mean, this came up, so I'm kind of glad to show this. And I guess this requires maybe some digging to understand this, but hey, there's a thread for you. I mean, he's commenting on, if you know Chad O. Jackson, he's been doing a lot of research over the years, put together a couple of documentaries, Uncle Tom 1 and 2. You're familiar with it. He's doing all this work, right? He's been investigating these MLK files they released. I mean, it really has just added to what he's been saying before about MLK and his ties with communism. He's responding to someone here about someone saying, what's your evidence? This guy, MLK, he wrote this thing about communism and Christianity being irreconcilable. And that's just like Chad O. Jackson reveals that, he plagiarized this apparently from an earlier work, a book titled Questions People Ask, Robert J. McCracken. Chad O. Jackson says this denouncement was just a way of throwing off alarmists and maintaining a deception here, and how real subversion and deception, it's not how you think. It's not announced. It's really deceptive. We must not be gullible, he says. I think you could see gullible about what? Some others might have some answers for you in terms of information and all that. All has its place. There's ways to bring it back simple. And that's why I like JLP, right? That's why I think we listen. Your people that blame, you put it somewhere else other than what you have done, right? In your life, the hell that's going on with you. That's crazy. You can't trust someone like that. But that's vague and all that. Look, let's get to the deranged stuff coming out of here with the white shooter, right? Because look what they're trying to say. Have you seen some of this stuff? The right-wing white nationalist homegrown terrorist Robin Westman. So, you're seeing some of this. You saw did you hear the predictions? Have you been listening to the network? JLP Network, Punchy.tv. Have you heard the predictions? I hear them now. I forget where I heard it. But they're going to call in any day now. One of the shows. And they're going to be saying, Jesse or James or Nick, what's up with the white people? What's wrong with the whites? Right, over this Robin Westman. Apologies, hold on here. So it's already happened. I already heard it at what, Hake Report? JLP show? We got it on 24/7, so you know. The callers, you sometimes forget which show they may have called. Is it possible to be a white nationalist and trans? Kevin Howe asks important questions, you know. Many of us are confused. We'll get to that. I think we're also going there. Appreciate it. Okay. So they're saying this is a white. Look, let me just show you this first thing here. Now, this is like a Reddit thing. r/March Against Nazis. And so they're spreading this around. The Minnesota Catholic school shooter identified as 20-year-old Robin Westman. Is that even true? I think maybe it was like 23. I forget. On his gun. Okay. This is Reddit, right? On his gun and gun magazines were written anti-black, anti-Hispanic, and anti-Semitic messages, such as 6 million wasn't enough. He's not an immigrant. He's not Antifa. He's not in ISIS. He's yet another right-wing, white nationalist, homegrown terrorist, just like nearly all the others. Is that true? I've seen a diversity in these, and I'm not even going with the whole like mass shooters. I'm including like anybody who shoots like people, like more than 3 people, which now you get like right gangs, terror, criminals, all sorts of stuff. So I'm not even thinking of that. Concerning school shootings, stuff like that, right? Hasn't it been pretty diverse? You got trans, you got right wing, you got someone who was who wanted to like a race war or something. You got the ones that hate Trump, some that, right? I don't know. You get a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But us, right? The rational people, oh, that's so terrible what's happening to those people with issues and mental health problems and ideological problems. Us rational people here looking at the world, we're like, wow. We're arguing with other rational people, right? We're looking at it, it's like, that's going on. They're killing, they're dying, they're scrawling the stuff, they're angry, hateful, whatever's going on with them. And us, the rational, loving people, we're arguing with each other, saying, "Yeah, you see why they're like shooting and stuff." It's like, yeah, see what you did, you MAGA, see what you did, white nationalist, see what you did, trans cult, whatever. And that doesn't make sense to me. Is that really the what's it called? Keeping score of just which was more angry. I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter. They're like, they're gone, right? They're like gone in anger and in lies and confusion. It's not just one thing, right? Have you noticed with these people? Have you noticed this at all? It's not just one thing. They got like right issues at home or at school or with friends, and then it's like on drugs usually, right? Like psychiatric stuff, and then they're taking on these identities, going around saying they're trans, they're not, right? I mean, think about the embarrassment you felt, despair that you felt over being wrong, so to speak, thinking that you liked something, were into something, were believed something, and you were like, okay, actually, oops. But you're you went far, right? You're like growing your hair out. You're telling everybody you're a girl. Right? And then the devil tells you, okay, you're not a girl. They're saying that there's these reports coming out. This person was having even issues with that identity, saying, I don't know if I'm really this trans person. I don't feel like a woman, but I definitely don't feel like a man, he wrote, allegedly, according to this article. We might get to that. I don't know. Some of these writings are like Robin Westman even said, warned. I don't suggest anyone to read my journal. I think they wrote. I think this person wrote. So, I mean, allow me to just kind of speak at length about this a little bit more. It's It's kind of what's on the news right now. 888-775-3773. There is a couple of things maybe we could get into about the writings that are interesting. But more on this kind of this characterization, this white nationalist characterization. I've seen a couple of these things. They're saying right wing, the things they wrote. I mean, they leave out, right, all these all these other writings that are saying, like, you know, to do something terrible to the president. You know, and like this anti-Israel stuff. What else? Just stuff like that, right? Leaving out, you know, the whole trans thing, changing their name. I mean, they went out of their way to change their name. And on that, it's like a little interesting to me, the news in describing this individual, saying she. Now, you saw this one. I don't know anything about r/March Against Nazis. It's a Reddit thing, but I imagine the anti-Nazi subreddit is particularly left-wing. I'd have to assume a couple of things here. But, you know, we punch Nazis on Reddit. You can maybe assume a couple of things. They did not mince any word. They're like, him, he's not an immigrant, he's not Antifa, this right-wing male, right killer, right, that's anti-Semitic, anti-Hispanic, anti-black male, he, homegrown terrorist, white, right? So that's when they hate him. That's when they hate him. And when they're, I guess, trying to show some respect, I don't even say they love him. Mainstream news. Minneapolis shooter said she was tired of being trans. Wait, hold up. You're reporting. It's in the headline. You're reporting about how they realized this was BS, and everybody knows this. Everybody knows it's not true. And it's in the headline, and you're not respecting that in a sense, right? Why would they? Why should they? They have fear. But I find that funny, right? This is when they respect them, when they love them. They're not even here to say you're misgendering me, right? And they write, Minneapolis shooter said she was tired of being trans and moaned she'd brainwashed herself into thinking she was female. So that's when they love you. You're literally saying, they reporting on you, realizing this insanity, kind of maybe, and they're like, wow, she's realizing he's a he, but he's dead now. Well, we'll just immortalize you as she. We'll respect you. We'll respect you, dead person who can't even, right? In case you go against us, he's not even going to do it. So you're really just afraid of other people, other sick people, rational people who are not school shooters. People would love, I'm sure they'd say. And when they hate you, you're a white homegrown nationalist male. Happy Men's History Month. It really is the deep topic. You think this or that's important, but the men being gone, men are not. What is that even? Where that mystery of an artifact? It's like the end, right? Spelling the end. Unless maybe you kind of figured out in your own individual life. Okay, whatever. Minneapolis shooter. This is kind of interesting. How about we do this a little bit? This whole thing about being brainwashed. And then that's pretty much, there was something else interesting about this. But yeah, transgender. This one is like saying transgender mass shooter. Robin Westman complained she was tired of being trans. Said she brainwashed herself into chilling manifesto. Court records reveal Westman 23 was previously known as Robert. According to court papers, Westman said she now identified as a woman, but in a handwritten manifesto, she appeared. I'm just reading what they say, but she appeared to question her decision. I only keep the long hair because it's pretty much my last shred of being trans. I'm tired of being trans. I wish I never brainwashed myself. The killer wrote in a scrawled cryptic message, I can't cut my hair now, as it would be an embarrassing defeat. It might be a concerning change of character that could get me reported. You know, an embarrassing defeat, like I was saying. You know, it's tough enough. You have a tough enough living a tough enough time living life, right? Just showing your face if you right say the wrong thing. So consider this the corner this person had backed themselves into in their mind, not even real. So I'm describing a desperate moment, right? I'm describing a desperate person. Danger, right? Desperation, emotion. Was that trans ideology? Desperate emotion? That's just so easy to say right now, folks. It's just far too easy. MAGA influencers. It's the trans terrorism. When is the left going to deal with this? It's it's just not even, it's just tip of the iceberg, folks. We're just so, you heard this from Hake, but I get what he's saying, right? Liberal as in loose, as in like, right? Well, we say liberal, like the liberty of the modern person. So free to be so evil, so free to be imprisoned by this, by the sea of choices, including the choice to be trans. Like, think about it. So embarrassing defeat might be a concerning change of character that could get me reported. I've read some of this, and I'm familiar that this person was writing really violent things, excessively violent things, and I'm pointing that out even because this is really just an opinion. Call it interesting, call it what you want. Call it just some of my coloring of how I see the mind. I really believe Satan works through the mind. And so this individual went off, killed these two, right? Injured 17. I mean, that's pretty brutal, right? Call it carnage, right? Call it me editorializing, but when I compared it to the writings, I wonder. It almost seemed like you wanted a lot more than that. It's almost sick to say, no? Am I putting myself in their mind? I mean, I was just reading their stuff. Probably why they said, "Don't read my journal." That's probably a good warning. But I'm reading it. I'm like, what this person wanted to do to people, I would think they wanted to be a little bit more, right, a little bit more effective, right, in the words of, in a military sense, than they were. Yeah, part of me wonders, did they find themselves in the moment and think, wow, this is okay, I think this is enough, and then kills themselves? That's just my opinion, editorializing. You see what you're really doing? You're influenced. I mean, I've seen too many crime stuff. These killers, these people, I mean, it's rare. They're usually surprised. They're usually not. The actual moment is surprising to them, not what they expect. Whether it's how difficult it may be, how much they didn't really want to. The actual moment is difficult. I've heard that about suicide. Famous stories of people who survive an attempt, and one famous one is someone jumping off a bridge, survivor. Once they actually attempted it, they regretted it right away. So, anyways, really sick stuff. But there was maybe a little bit more here. This person was struggling with identity, as they write. Struggling with how to identify. I don't want to dress girly all the time, but I guess sometimes I really like it. I know I'm not a woman, but I definitely don't feel like a man. Yeah. That is an across the board thing. And weak men, they may not necessarily be going around doing this, but that's happening, right? There's a true weakness. And I think everybody kind of knows. Everybody kind of tell as they're looking around, it's like chaos. You got like Europe, you're looking at these scenes of Europe, and then you're like, well, wow. And then some months pass, years pass, and you're like, wait, hold up. This video's from like right here. Wait, they got like they got that going on in New York. you wonder. I think people know this, that right, the women are like frustrated. They're either not getting married, they're being left, right, they complain about slim pickings, whatever it is, but they're not happy. Don't know if that will make you happy, ladies. But you understand, like, I think everybody knows this, even if they don't want to say it. They know this, right? Some instinctually, you look at the crime, you examine how you don't want to say, but you like seeing Trump, right, people kind of come down on the crime, come down on stuff. So I'd say people know, right? This person is saying, I don't think I'm a woman, but I definitely don't feel like a man. That's a lot of men. All men? Is that all men? It's whatever. It's like a journey, maybe. A spiritual journey, that goes all the way deep from birth, from Adam and Eve, vine, maybe. But look, today, what's happening with us, what I've seen in my lifetime, that's happening. Don't you see it? This rot, whatever it is. I don't feel like a man, he said. And that's like another funny thing too, right? Maybe I think part of this, if I may, like the part of this, like a man journey, I guess I'm talking about. Part of that is like this end goal you're seeking, right? How to feel like a man, how to be strong, how to be confident, how to be all these things. Yeah, I don't think it's all that. But not being any of those. Whoa, it's deeper. Let's not get off the beaten path here. The twisted killer turned the gun on herself after opening fire at the Annunciation, I heard it said, Catholic school and church in South Minneapolis around 8:30 a.m. 2 young children, 8 and 10, killed. You're familiar with these details. Now, what else? I think this article was pretty good for more deets on what this person did. No, their writings, DOAs, da-da-da. I was also interested, how fast did the police show up? I was just wondering. But I haven't seen anything about that. Oh, that's right. I have some pretty interesting stuff over here. I'm just thinking out loud, folks. Sorry, but look, let's finish this up. Soon after the shooting began, Westman died by suicide, okay? Dispatcher could be heard relaying one suspect, gunshot wound to the head, down right now. Whatever. Anyways, right. I think it's here. Investigating the killer's motive. Talking about the disturbing videos posted. In a 20-minute long video, Westman showed off what they're calling a kill kit, revealing twisted obsession with school shooters. This is a thing, too. Being part of a community identity. There's an identity and community behind mass killers. And it's been now it's basically hit mainstream since who is that girl? Natalie? I forget her name. But she was like, they were trying to say she was a femcel, the femcel shooter. Some girl. Was it Tennessee? No, that's the one we just don't know anything about, I think. But there was some young lady shooter. So I think it was Trey Gowdy, I think. On Punchy, we were playing this Republican guy, supposed to be a conservative, tough guy. So it's always young white men. And someone tried correcting him right there. If you hear it kind of in the background, and he's like, except for that one, that happened, right? Tennessee. 2, actually, right? Tennessee. Because there was another one, the femcel shooter. Yeah, Nashville was one, that trans woman, lady, whatever. Like female to male. And this one too, this is male to female. I mean, not this one, sorry. There was another one, not trans, or not that I know of, but they called it like the femcel shooter. Wisconsin. Look, it's at this point, there were details about this one that I think kind of put this in the mainstream now, and that's just a SpongeBob AI rendering of that. That's not appropriate. That's neither informative or appropriate. that this female, this young individual was involved in all these internet communities, okay? And I forget what they call themselves, but they're like these morbid kids a lot of the time, maybe even old people, because it's the internet, right? Maybe even like weirdos. But I remember some young people were interviewed, I think about the Wisconsin shooting. And I don't want to speak anymore if I'm not even remembering that well, but it was something about some of these individuals in these forums and chats saying, yeah, I mean, we do kind of share this morbid thing about death and stuff, sometimes even mass killing, but we didn't think that she would do it. We didn't think that one of them would do it, something like that. It's a weird thing. You can make a community out of anything. Has the internet taught you anything? Really strange. You want to watch that in yourself. What are you teaming up with? Anyways, she was supposedly a neo-N, but the church the young teenage girl shot up was extremely conservative. She had daddy issues. Yeah, the Wisconsin one, right? Anyways. Yeah, that's another thing. I was wondering about that too. We haven't quite seen that yet, but someone is just mentioning the family life possibly. I mean, you had this. I heard the same reports. I mean, we read it just a moment ago. This person changed their name, but I heard a similar report about the mother's involvement with that. The mother's involvement with this Robert becoming Robin Westman business. Yeah, terrible stuff. So anyways, I think that's it with that. I got maybe a few more things. I got something interesting for you here. Is this even like fair to report? Am I reporting here? I almost just wouldn't put it past some of the people on Reddit to do this. I know this is a viral image going around, but I mean, there's nasty people on the internet, I guess. Is this really news? Yeah, there's nasty people on the internet. And they're celebrating this, right? Dead Christians. And it's a lot of political things too, right? Republicans, this is Republicans' fault for trying to genocide us. You know, has the trans thing, is it just what's happening with that? It's gone away? Is it dying out? Like, I don't know if there's stats or anything. I know J.B. Pritzker, I mean, they tried to make or have made, was it J.B.? No. Tim Walz made his area, right? But Minneapolis, into a trans refuge state. What I'm getting at is like the public discourse and opinion on it, I don't know, I think has plummeted. It might, I don't know, I get the impression it's plummeted. The stock, so to speak. They couldn't really, I don't know, it was tough standing up to the women, I think. Once the women started going, and imagine that, right? But once the women started going, wait, hold on, what's going on here? I don't think I have mods on Rumble, so I have to make sure that we're set, okay? That we're playing, that we're not tripping. Don't worry. Sometimes it gets Mickey, it gets tricky on these Rumble streets. Rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. Don't worry. So where was I? Look. Politically, is it going away? There's no protections. It's proof you can't please people. It's proof you can't appease, please. You can't do that. You can't. That's not love. You can't. And you're setting yourself up to get killed. Like, I'm being straight up. You. That's what happens with when you have I don't know how to put it. I want to say parasite, but I want to say someone that you help, but they freeload, they take advantage. I mean, that might be most people. That might be most situations when you help and you let someone live in your place. It's like just a day or two, just a week, please. And there's a reason why that happens, right? It gets worse, spiritual. I'd say it's spiritual. But this is proof, right? They become terrorists should you take it away. Because some don't want it. That's simply it. Some don't want to get better. That's just it. Some people don't want to get better. They want, right? They've fallen into and just fallen in love, so to speak, with this insanity. I almost stopping myself going back into the trends, like all that. This shooter, this Robin Westman's journal, but I guess we don't have to go into it, find the writings, but I can remember some of it. And this individual, I mean, they wrote explicitly about the thoughts that would come in, the thrill they would get from these thoughts. And the earlier and the progression, listen to this. I don't even know if I don't even want to scare it. I'm not trying to scare you, but look, if you get scared, you're going to be in deeper trouble. Let me say that. But let it be a warning. This person wrote explicitly about how these thoughts came in, the thrill they got from these terrible, violent thoughts. Okay? Pair that in parallel with all their writings about their frustration with their life, right? Their trans identity, frustration with their parents, frustration with, I forget what else I read. But, and then the thrill they got from thinking about these violent things. And wrote explicitly about the progression from initially trying to move, right, like kind of like, okay, knowing that you shouldn't go into that thrill, kind of like not, what do they, indulge, that's the word they used. And progressing to not just indulging right away, like not caring, not stopping themselves anymore. You hear about free will. You may have heard the debate on Jesse with JLP. Do we have free will? I don't know. I just don't think it's as free as people say. But maybe you have I don't know what it is. Maybe you have some decision. Where did I hear frozen will? Where did I hear that? Whatever. Look. But if there's somewhere, maybe you have it's right there. The little tiny bit you have. I don't want to say that it's free will, but it's that moment where there's so many things I can't control and do, like these thoughts coming in. But this person indulged. Anyways, they were obsessed, right? You get obsessed. Have you been obsessed? You get have you noticed this? Have you noticed you always get what you obsess over? I don't know about you guys. Is that you guys? Is that unique? You guys feel that way? Because I remember a Punch episode, and the co-hosts were like, I forget what the conversation was, but it was something akin to, I can never really get what I want or something like that. And I was thinking, everything I have obsessed over, I get. Maybe not how you think, or I'm never obsessed over millions of dollars, so, I may have wanted, I may have thought, that'd be cool, but I've never obsessed over that. But yeah, anyways, oh yeah, I'm getting what I'm obsessed with. Oh yeah, some people in the chat. I guess that too, sir. But look, it's just true. Careful what you wish for. I think that is what that means, by the way. Okay, anyways. I see a Rumble user pop up in this chat. I'm banging him on site. It's on site. All right, folks. I appreciate it. 888-775-3773. How about this? We got some time for this coffee here, and then we got a couple of other things. Kind of fun, kind of interesting. I got a song for you, actually. Now, before we get there, try and remember. Anybody was around during the .com bubble? Is that what they called it? Speculation on the internet. Do you remember, let me know in the chat, do you remember any of the promises? Because, I think by the time I was around, I was already on the internet. I was already on the computer as young as I can remember. So let me know, what were some of the promises? What were they saying? Is coming, right? The internet will fix, change, make happen. What were the promises of the future of this time? I'd like to know. Then I got a song for you, but let me see here. Thanks for that. buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. We got a couple more from Eric. We got Angband Art here. Allow me a moment to pull this up. I appreciate that. buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. Okay. We got a couple of coffees here. I want to start with Angband Art here. Let me just show the support. Thank you for that. Appreciate that, sir. Okay. And it reads, Nick, your observation about the pen on the sign of the Will Smith thing was very impressive. Wait, what are you talking about? Your observation about the pen on the sign. Oh, yeah, the AI Will Smith video. That totally was AI, right? There was some kid holding up a sign, and it looked like it's like scribbled pen, but the size didn't make sense. The proportion didn't make sense. All the proportions were wrong. The scribble scratches looked like were done from a perspective of much closer than the size of the sign. He says, have you considered being a detective or PI, private investigator? You, of all people, could thrive in something like that. I agree. That video was totally AI. This is a new age, and people who recognize the subtle details of life's reality versus non-reality are going to remain more sane longer. More sane. I think Angband Art, part of it is messing around with, I don't know, artistic stuff. When I'm trying to make a thumbnail, like literally just basic like Photoshop stuff, video editing. Let's say I'm trying to mess with a photo and I'm trying to have water come down this way. I have to think about, well, if water actually slapped that surface this way, it would have to operate in this way. You think about the laws of the natural world maybe a little bit. This is a new age, yes, subtle details of non-reality. We need people like you to point these things out. I'm telling you, this is why you look. I am your filter. I am like, if you have like an image of me, maybe this is one like the Broken King in Warhammer, just on his throne, just hooked up to all these tubes, like a respirator, right? Like, and that's the internet. The tubes is the internet and all the noise of the world. But I filter it. I filter it at great cost for all of you. I filter the noise to great personal and psychological cost for all of you. For only the few, only the few trained through the gauntlet of JLP can carry this torch, filter the noise for you. Although Hake is not all plugged in like me, kind of like all crazy like that. He's kind of more like, like all natural, like Paul Bunyan in the woods or something. I don't know. Look, I just haven't thought about that one. I'm just like this, this internet homunculus, but I'm here for you. As you know, there's more AI content we consume than we realize. There's no telling how far along we actually are. The more it takes over, the more I value real life, such as you represent well. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate the compliment. Heck yeah. Angband again says the shooter story is that shooter story is probably AI generated because that note you showed looked and sounded very inauthentic. It was way too consistently thoughtful and repetitive in different ways that hurt, that will be caused to others. And if you look at the handwriting, it is extremely consistent. The letters are perfectly spaced and above the lines, yet letters are in a sloppy style. Angband's responding to some of the images I showed that were initially allegedly the shooters, but they were, man. They were just all backwards and funny from some kind of camera filter, I think. I can't be sure, but it was either some camera filter or some attempt to disguise what was in the journal. And it tracks with what this Robin person was saying. They did make numerous attempts to disguise the extent of what they were writing, knowing that they would be flagged, and other similar words they used, knowing that they would be found out, so to speak. Furthermore, the rifle's inscriptions were vague and random, as if what an AI would think is hateful and vulgar, but no connection to a thought pattern. I think it tracks. Look, where is your God? You know, this person, it really shows the mindset of these people. It's not the ideology is like secondary. The ideology and what they're believing politically and all that is just a matter of their unstable mind anyways, right? You and I have our thoughts on the world, the natural world, politically, ourselves, culturally, etc. And we've stretched that out over a longer time because we learned, or whatever you want to call it, or you're taught a certain way, etc. These persons changing beliefs or their thoughts on it is a result of this deranged mind. So understand that that's secondary. That's just them describing what they see. That's just them describing the natural world and their opinions of it, just like you and I. That's so to say ideology, that's crazy. Look at what these people are saying. These people are lashing out at God, are lashing out at God's children and saying, "Where is your God? I want to shoot these kids," and I don't want to do that. You know, that's a terrible thing to repeat on this censoring world with all the algorithms. Don't hurt me. I love children. But look, you understand? That's ideology. That's just that's them describing the world as they see it, like you and I. This person, right? To add to that, it really is a hatred of the world, a hatred of society. It really is less like that. I mean, consider why would you have to go against God's children? I was seeing on the internet some people saying, well, this person wrote anti-Israel stuff. Why'd they go to a Catholic place and shoot up Catholic kids? And I'm like thinking, you know, unless there's some like really strange stuff like psyops, I don't know anything about that. Then look, you got a person. Where did they grow up? They grew up in America, right? With seeing, look, even if it's hated nowadays, generally made fun of easily, right? I'm talking about Christianity. People have this semblance, right? Growing up, they know, even in the things that they were taught, the golden rule, etc., that you're rebelling against that. I don't know what it is. It must be spiritual, instinctual. That's what you're rebelling against. You're rebelling against that order. And it was placed by Christianity. Isn't that interesting that as much as you could see Jesus being made fun of and all that, I think it's almost undeniable that the order that has been in place in the world you and I grew up in is a Christian order, in a sense, as maybe hobbling as it is in some cases. The proof is in what you have to deny, what you have to rebel against, sometimes violently, as you see. It has to be Christianity and its derivatives, if I may. You know what I'm saying? So I just find that interesting. Look, what else about this? Where was I? Thank you, Angban Art. It's insane. The letters are perfectly right. I would think it's hateful. So thank you, Angban Art, for the commentary there. Much appreciated. Eric, man, appreciate the coffee, sir. buymeacoffee.com/Anchor Baby says your last caller yesterday likes to keep score in relationships. I'm not sure. I can't remember who you talk about, Eric. But that's keeping score. What kind of love is that? Also known as climbing the ladder, transactional, or as Jesse would say, hate, because her love is conditionally based on the perceived love, energy, and nurture she's receiving. Men love women. Men love what men can do for them. Men love women Women love what men can do for them. Women come into relationships with needs that they feel aren't being met. They build a resentment without ever directly explaining what their needs are. They blame a man for not fulfilling their needs without asking if he agrees to fulfill those needs. At some point, women must realize the deceitful nature of their personalities. Women don't want to feel obligated to reciprocate, so they attempt to covertly get their needs met. It also helps them maintain plausible deniability for the selfish, feminine aspects of having needs and the nature of those needs. For example, a woman will hint that she should like a bag, but not directly say, if you don't buy me that bag, I'm going to make your life a living hell. Had she told the truth, she wouldn't be able to maintain plausible deniability that she's a kind lady. Interesting, Eric. Who is he? You guys know who he's talking about? Your last caller yesterday likes to keep score. You guys know? Chad, do you know? You paying attention like that? Are you OG like that? Someone's got to pay attention, right? I ain't a producer. I don't remember who it was, but there was something interesting about this. You know, he describes this woman and women in general getting their needs met, right? Getting what they want. And yeah, there's this like example of, you know, I want you to buy things for me, but what about other things that women want that they feel they need, right? The safety, being taken care of, or these things. In a certain sense, you know, he says they blame a man for not fulfilling their needs without asking if he agrees to fulfill those. Well, I guess that makes sense. But, you know, you say the deceitful nature of their personalities. I mean, in a certain respect, isn't that a little bit more honest? I need these things. Yes, we have a relationship. We got a loving relationship. But I need these things, right? Like, I need the rent to be this much. I make this much money and I'm just, right? Or I need you to cover that. Or I need you to, in a way, sure, maybe it's not love. But we're talking about a relationship here, right? A marriage. Those things, I think that's where those things come in. The physical needs, so to speak, her desires. I mean, besides the like emotional and all that, we're talking about like money here, right? And all that. I mean, who's the more honest one? Anyways, what am I saying here? The selfish, feminine aspects. Isn't it very feminine? It's like, okay, I see what I need. This guy can provide it. It's time to be what he likes. You know what I'm saying? It's quite feminine. Look, I'm telling you about how these things come together, right? I'm not telling you what's like moral, right? What you must seek for in your life. But if you ask me, it's like, Nick, how can I have maybe a more, do you have any advice for a more a successful marriage or relationship here? Don't leave some of these things to, like in the air, like, oh, you know, just, what I'm saying is this is like a relationship is marriage is temporal. It's in the world. You need food. You need to pay for these things. And then you want to have kids and anyway, whatever, Eric, you right on. Yeah, men love women. I don't know. I guess I was nitpicking. Men love women. Women love what men can do for them. Do they really love each other at all? I don't know. I'm starting to think that I don't know if they really love each other at all. Maybe men are supposed to represent something. And that's our example. But, yeah, Eric, thank you, sir. Amazing. buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. Now, I know you had the other message here. And it's quite long, but maybe we could give it some attention. Maybe Friday or what? Should we jump in back where we were? If you remember, he was talking about the rap music. And I had gone in and read it myself after the show. And, you know, sincerely, I mean, he said some interesting things. Stuff that I even said if I had just read the rest of his message. I'm like, okay, you know, Eric's thinking about these things. He's got some interesting things about this. But if you remember, we got into some of the music, right? The rap culture, and how the blacks take pride, right, in identifying their rap music, and what's promoted in the rap music is uniquely terrible. I mean, pride being the most demonic of sins, according to Eric, showing just how, you know, just how terrible the effects of this music is. And that's pretty much where we were. He's describing the depth of the other genres. He was describing like the music from Tool and all that. So this is pretty much where we left off. When we look to people, places, and things to solve our problems, we reinforce the ego. We try to appease the ego by confirming its identity. But it's the heart of the problem, because it's always looking externally. When we look internally, we solve our problems. We realize our only problem is our conception of self. We reformulate our intentions to that of authenticity. Is that always true? You could be quite inauthentic with the facts, so-called, right? The facts are there's good and evil. The fact is, it's a spiritual battle. And evil wants your mind, your heart. That's just a fact. And it's going on inside you. And the kingdom of heaven is within. And you gotta look internal. You could be inauthentic with that. That's the foundational difference in the genres. Rap music is associated with and its associated culture is designed to reinforce the ego, to inflate it. A quick way to discern, am I being guided toward peace or happiness? Peace is of God. Happiness is of the devil. All rap music leads the listener to passionate pursuits. You moved the goalpost with Stand By Me. Oh, we kind of went through this. Yeah. My apologies, folks. And you know, those people, those black people were into different things. Isn't that interesting? There's no meaningful life message in rap. It's all dangerous thrills. You said, why don't video games and true crime series cause people to be violent? They probably do. Very few identify video game expertise or the consuming of documentaries as providing the endless adoration of women. No particular ethnicity identifies with a video game. Is that true? Not all, but most don't think this game defines me. Have you been to an anime convention? Have you seen any of that? Literally, that's what guys do when they play video games. Girls don't do that, I read. But guys are like, yeah, this is totally me. Or they try to emulate the character they're playing. Have you noticed what's up with gamers all picking female characters? Like, they love playing female characters. They're like, if it's a character creator, a game where you can create a character, they're making girls. And their reasoning is because you get to see them their back while they're running around and you're jumping around, or is it something deeper? Because I don't know if you read the studies. Yeah, guys try to emulate. They try and be the character they're playing as. What's going on here, fellas? In reference to rap music, you said, I'm ignoring the genius of simplicity. This is why the blacks have become so successful in this. What are you defining as success? And who are you attributing the success to? That everybody loves it? Bro, white people, they sincerely like the rap music. The people in the world, they sincerely, even the elites or even educated people tap their music, tap their feet, maybe not to Kodak Black or something, but maybe even that, honestly. Look, the people love their music. Let's be real. People love the stuff they put out. The genius simplicity of it. Consider for a moment, if anything, a thing to learn. This is cool, right? Learn from each other. Can't you learn from each other? It's an interesting tool to have. And the key is you got to leave a little space. Don't be quick to judge. Put it like this. Let's say you're an individual with a message. I mean, it sounds like you, right? I mean, put it like this. You have interesting things to say about the ego, stuff going on internally. You brought up a very interesting thing. You say when you pay attention to what's going on inside, your problems get better. That's absolutely true, man. Imagine if you could tell people this, and I guess not because you want to save the world or whatever, but just imagine you want to make, or you have an effective message. You're a Republican or something. Conservatives, right? We want to bring back the family and all this stuff. Imagine if you could use the genius of simplicity. People like that. I mean, that's why they like that music, folks. That's why they tap their... People love that music. It's very popular for that reason. So that's what I mean by success. It's just a fact. It's successful. People love it. And then there's complicated stuff. The most amazing classical pieces, virtuosos. Yeah, musicians like that stuff. And yeah, others. But we're talking about everybody. We're talking about anyways, to say 1,000 black rappers have become financially successful is an exaggeration and means nothing. When you observe the whole picture that their financial success was at the expense of society. That might be true. Reparations now for all the rap music you put out there. More specifically, at the expense of the black demographic that identifies with them, champions them, attributes rap's popular success as their success. I mean, they live in the violence, grow up with it, they about it, and so they sing about it, and they rap about it. No one killed someone. It's pretty sincere in that way. I think that's another reason why people like it. No one killed someone or joined a gang after listening to Hobo Johnson at a Tiny Desk concert. That's hilarious. I don't know. They may have done it to themselves after listening to that Hobo Johnson Tiny Desk concert. You guys remember that? They may have done it to themselves. I don't think the world is left unscathed from the Hobo Johnson Tiny Desk concert. Okay. I don't think there's no Korean pop gangs terrorizing our streets. Rock band fans aren't disproportionately leading country in violent crime statistics. Country music stars aren't murdering other country music stars. How do you explain rappers getting murdered every year? If there isn't a unique difference between rap and other musical genres, the violence, crime, and lack of moral character is unique to rap culture. The lack of moral character directly correlates. I never said rap music wasn't creative or enjoyable. I'm pointing out the consequences of its influences. See, plenty assumed, sir. It was a long coffee. You got to understand. All your responses were lost in your long coffee. But I think you understood, and we're reading it anyways. But you also understood that the non-pithiness, the difficulty of non-pithiness. The catchiness of rap music that you are defining as creative art or genius is why the hypnosis is so detrimental to the black community. Yeah, maybe I'm hypnotized. The song you played, Kuda, by 6ix9ine, evokes a hateful, emotional response. Guaranteed people died, were robbed, severely beaten, spending life in prison, sold drugs, joined a gang from that song's influence. Evil spirits infiltrate the mind. Rap is of the devil. It says, sell your soul for the thrill. There's no net benefit of rap. Black culture existed long before rap and needs to return to its roots. Okay, so this is what I'm getting at. So you agree. It's black people, not the rap. You're saying it right here. Who's making black culture? Who's consuming, making, passing it down? The stories, the traditions, the narratives. It's black people, black culture. So you're saying, oh, how come all these other, why doesn't country music have a high violence rate? Well, those are white people, right? How come, what else did you say? How come rock bands fans are disproportionate? Well, that's also, right, white people. Korean pop gangs, well, that's Koreans, right? Hobo Johnson, well, that's white people. That's why. Right? And the blacks, in my opinion, have a unique justification for anger. When the human condition is lost in thought, unconscious suggestions through repeated 3-minute songs. You know, the hypnosis is going to be bad. Anger and pride. Yep. We don't even know what the thought is anymore. Evil is operating in our minds. Steroids for the ego. Narrow is the path and few are those that find it. Thank you, Eric, man. I appreciate your coffee. You're very generous, so I thank you for that. Amazing. 888-775-3773. All to describe the fallen state. An immeasurable societal extraction of moral character. It's just a little bit more, don't you think? It's like this. It's like this much more. And it's obviously the worst of us. And it's like those leading into destruction. But I think, in my opinion, if I were, this is, what am I saying here, right? But it's just how I see it. This is how I kind of see it in my mind. How, if I had a bar graph, if I had to put them on a graph, how much more evil they are. And how much more immeasurable their extraction of moral character is of society. I'd say it's just like a little bit more. It's like a bump up, a level above. Because it's like, then we're all crazy here. Anyways, but hey, you're watching the American Anchor Baby show. You know, we don't mince words here. It's I'm not telling you not to look at what those people are doing. Because you'll have my callers, right? Sometimes they'll say, why are you putting so much attention on this? So check this out. Did you guys write in the chat and I wasn't paying attention? What were the promises of the internet era? And then I'll get to my calls here. Thank you. 888-775-3773. Oh, you know what? In fact, I think AJ here wants to talk about some of this. So, you know what? AJ, Seattle, Washington, how you doing, sir? You're on the air.
What's going on, my friend? How are you?
No complaints, AJ. Appreciate your call.
Good. Yeah. So the whole rap culture thing. So I was, grew up in the 80s, the 90s, and rap was a little bit different, because the 80s hip-hop was more about, the music and all of that, and then the whole 90s thing was like, was reporting what was going on in the hood, and then like hip-hop and rap are two different things. But rap became more mainstream in the late 90s, the 2000s, and then basically you can say that once rap became the most popular music in America, or in the world, actually, in the 2000s, is when the corporate machine, all that took over, and they started kind of moving more towards the kind of shock and awe and all that type of stuff. And that's when the actual any positivity got kind of taken out of the music. And now the current state of rap is just completely evil. There's nothing good about rap music at all anymore. You can even say, like, I always call it the falling off culture, even in itself. You know how, like, the Rolling Stones are still touring to this day?
Is that so?
Yeah. They've had albums out, and they've been around for 50 years. Wow. How many times have you had a rap artist who just hadn't had an album out? They fell off. Even how they view their artists is negative. It's just conflict, and this rapper fell off, and this rapper, there's drama. And I was saying that even with women now, right, there has been a 42% increase in violent arrests with women ages 17 to 29 in the last, 8.5 years. And this is this whole Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, City Girl stuff. So it's normalized the worst part of black behavior. And I am black. It's normalized this to where even white kids in the suburbs are getting face tattoos and all this other stuff, fighting in the schools. So I believe rap culture in and of itself is toxic, and it's actually led to a lot of the ills in our society today. And it is unique to rap music.
Oh, interesting way of summarizing that, AJ. I find it hard to disagree with that. And it's like call it maybe a societal ill. Let me ask you this, AJ. When concerning some of this, and I'm not even in this, I'm not concerned with specific people, but in kind of general, because there's fakers and posers. But in general, what would you say about the authenticity of, maybe it's not positive. You're saying they took the positivity out, but with the music coming out of some of these places, some of these, these cities, right? Some of this rap music specifically coming out, hip hop, trap, whatever, and these artists behind it all. What do you say about the authenticity of it when they're saying these lyrics and rapping about those negative things?
Well, I think that the authenticity died right around 2012. Because remember, every 3 to 5 years, there's a new genre of hip hop that takes off, right? So, like in the late 80s, there was Grandmaster Flash, and then after that, for like 3 to 5 years, there was Tupac and Biggie Smalls, and after that, there was Jay-Z and then Nas. Then after that, it was that kind of weird Black Eyed Peas techno, and then it was crunk, right?
So how are you defining authenticity here?
Well, here. So is whatever is popular from the grassroots coming up. When the whole Drake Future trap movement started, corporations they've been looking for the next Drake since 2012. So now it's fake. Now the music can't evolve at all, so it's not authentic at all. Think about it. Huh?
So, and what's not authentic about it?
There should be a new type of music that's not trap and drill. Hip-hop has never stayed stagnant for this long. And it's because they're trying to find the next Future and the next Migos. Think about it. Jay-Z got popular in the late 90s, right? Mm-hmm. But he wasn't popular in 2009. He had outgrown, his genre had outgrown the scene. I mean, the scene moved past him. He was the only one left, but they had moved on to like the Southern rap and then trap and all of that. But they've stayed on this trap thing for so long. There's no authenticity left at all.
So if there's any, so you're saying it's inauthentic because of, having money backing, label backing, etc.
Yes, and people now think that so there are kids that are from the suburbs, like T.I.'s son, who's never lived a life of hardship, trying to say that he's in the street.
But FGB, but here's what I'm getting at by authentic. FGB Duck, when he released, we're getting a silver alert. Silver alert activated. California Highway Patrol. Does that mean an old person? Silver alerts. Because I know Amber alerts are for children, right? Sorry, my phone just went off. That's what you just heard. But listen, this is what I'm getting at by authentic. FGB Duck, Chicago guy, Sony Records, right? So Sony Music Records division, right? Backed him when he released Slide, right? If you go slide, PN, go slide, then. That was, right, that label backing, etc. You'd think, well, this is some label. That guy was gang involved. He was killed by gang people. This is what I'm getting at by authentic. Like, I don't know whatever you think by, I don't know what happened with the labels and all that, but I get, and who took out the positivity. But I got to say, a lot of this stuff coming out, when they rap about lean, the corporations didn't make that up. Like the labels didn't make that up. That was grassroots, baby. That they made that up in the hood. You understand when they rap about Galaxy Gas, when they rap about this stuff, they rap about stuff that's really happening in the hood. Like, it's pretty authentic, I think, some of it.
Yeah.
What do you think about
that? So they are finding a lot of the people that are saying it is real. So I guess with that, we might be talking past each other. My point is that as far as authenticity goes, there might be a need in the scene to move towards something that's more positive, but it's been actually destroyed by how corporate it is. So for instance,
this is what I'm getting at. The corporations didn't make up lean. That they made that.
Yeah,
That's pretty authentic.
yeah.
I think they made that up themselves.
Yeah. So everything that they're saying is correct, and that's why I say it's evil, right? That's why rap, in and of itself, it glorifies everything wrong in society. I actually moved away from the D.C. area where Trump is, cleaning out everything, which he needs to do.
Yeah.
Dude, it's Gotham City in D.C. right now. It's actually calm because of Trump. Like, people are actually trying to say that, oh, well, people who are anti-Trumpers are trying to gaslight everyone and say there is no crime in D.C. Yes, there is. I used to live there, right? But so in D.C., a lot of the kids, who live that rap lifestyle, they're getting, shot at and all this other stuff, right? But once again, this is being glorified by the music, and these kids grow up in this to where you see them, 5-year-old girls with their moms twerking and all this other stuff. So it's reporting everything that's going on. The authenticity is there, but it's glorifying what shouldn't be glorified. It's making what's wrong seem right and what's right seem wrong.
But it's not the corporations doing it. They're maybe or the music labels or something. Like, sure, they maybe have their own part to play. Maybe they saw the opportunity. They're like, okay, I know that this will go viral.
I think,
sure, maybe they're sick in their own way. I don't know what to call it, but I gather the story of they took the positivity out, and I agree. By the way, I was saying stuff like some of what you're saying. I've been saying some of the stuff you said about, like, how have you noticed, like, the lingo. Everything is kind of influenced by rap culture and what you're talking about in a way.
Yeah.
So I don't deny that. But put it like this narrative I'm almost done. This narrative of this corporations, the labels, they took the positivity out. No, I think those areas really became that. I think the music coming out of those areas is sincere. They didn't take the positivity out.
I wasn't trying to take the onus away from the from the people, because the corporations are just doing what makes money. So, for instance, you and Jesse talk about how just because they put crack in black neighborhoods doesn't mean you had to take it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate that argument where, like, it's the government. Well, someone can leave a big crack rock on my desk, and I'm not going to take it. It's my fault if I do it. So it's ultimately these knuckleheads in the hood's fault. A, making this music, and B, doing the behavior. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is that in the same way that there was hair metal in the 80s, and then grunge music came out of as a direct response to hair metal, right? The hip hop genre should have changed in a different way by now, because that's what it's always done, and it hasn't. And I think that's because right now, the way that the music industry is set up is that they realize they've struck gold with the whole drill rap. That's what I was trying to say, is we're not going to see any change. And that's why I don't listen to hip hop, rap. I think it's cooked, honestly, But that's what I mean.
Music is just how we express ourselves. Like, music, if you notice, genre is. I notice when people talk about music and genres, for example, they try and make sense of it by its, like, sonic composition, how it sounds literally. But that's actually very little to do with it. Well, not always. It's a part of it, but genres are mainly a cultural language. They're a way of describing a people and a time and a place, right? Like the punk movement happened because of, I can't tell you, right? But it's because of a certain time period, and those people, right, it became popular to do this. I can't think of a good example, but you understand. It's a cultural language. Like, it comes. The direction is from the bottom up. So, rap music won't change. Right, you're telling me that rock, right, hair metal was a response to blah, blah, blah. That's because culturally things changed. And that's happened even in rap music. So the culture has changed, right? You had like you had the rap and the hip hop that came from certain areas, right? I mean, call it like South Central, Compton, and the beats that were made with the MPCs of that time. That became that cultural language, the MPC beats and all that. And then it became trap beats, and all the beats changed. That is the cultural language continuum. But what has been the prevailing cultural language here? Racism, what's wrong with us, blah, blah, blah. These prevailing topics is what informs these cultural languages that we call genres. And what has been the prevailing narrative? Hate, blame, and victim. What can I say? We should all learn from this.
Yeah. And what's crazy is that, my great granddad, he was 107 when he passed away. He's from Alabama. 107,
Amazing.
And he grew up just like Jesse did. He says the exact same stuff about. This is why I agree with your show, Jake's show, everything you guys say, and I am black. You guys do a great job,
right,
but I just think that rap is an expression of everything wrong with black culture. And the fact that people defend it so much, especially those like these white kids that are from the suburbs, right? They're the ones that are trying to say that there's no crime in DC and that rap music is positive and this and that, when they're never going to really have to experience the negative effects, right? So
Absolutely.
There's this weird kind of space that we're in where I say any black person that has some sense, like I said, so when I bought my house, I made sure I drove around the neighborhood and made sure that the majority of the people didn't look like me. And that I didn't hear any rap music blasting at 11 a.m.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't think it's going to change. Drake, Future, all those guys, I don't think it's going to change because it's too profitable. And then also the people that are actually like authentically making the music, it's such a part of the culture that there's always going to be the next guy, the next guy. It'd be different if they all died out, right? Like if these guys were all deleting each other at high rates, that there just was no Smoke Perps or whatever left.
Yeah.
Right? But there's always going to be a new one coming down the block, So
maybe, I don't know. Maybe, I mean, they were making music like Stand By Me at some point. And so I wouldn't say such a thing. Put it like this. I do want to say you're making me think about this in a number of ways. And I think there's something to be said about, it's all evolved actually quite a bit. Rap, so to speak. I mean, it's not the beats of the 90s anymore, and people with lyricists. It's not really even people freestyling anymore. A number of races have all adopted this kind of mainstream thing that rap, hip hop has become. I think we all kind of share it now, is what I'm trying to say. I think we all kind of share this new beast here, and we all, especially the youth and whatever. We all, I think we all kind of source from it. What is this beast I'm talking about? I don't know what rap and hip hop became. I don't know what it is. Call it. Well, it's very mainstream. White girls like it. Black people like it. Young and old like it. I don't know how to describe it.
My point is, you talked about evolution, right? And hip hop is not.
Last thing, and then we got to go. Go ahead.
Yes, since 2012. Like you just talked about, like where things were in the 80s, the 90s, whatever. And what I'm saying is, from 2012, you had Future, Offset, Drake, all the same artists, and they're still doing the same thing now.
Yeah, I think I'm picking up what you're putting down there.
Yeah. So,
with that
all right, my friend.
Right on, AJ. Call me again, man.
I appreciate you. Take it easy.
Right on, sir. 888-775-3773. Jermaine, Canada. How you doing, sir? On the air.
Hey, Nick.
Welcome. Appreciate your call, man.
Hey, happy Men's History Month.
Yeah, happy Men's History Month.
Yeah, I was calling to put my little thought there on the rap music industry business thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you guys make some great points. there's really not much to say when I do think about it, because you guys touch on a lot of different things. And while you were saying it, it all comes together with the music, the culture, the parents, because in the black family, the male is not around, and even if the male is around, he's not really in the family. He's just there because the woman is his God, right? And he's really not there for the kids when you look at it. And I saw a video the other day of these kids, no older than 2 or 3, man. And they're in the back of this car, and they're throwing up gang sign and middle fingers. And I'm like, they behave just like how you see the rappers in the music video with, throw up sign. And I'm like, that's just wild. And the mother was she was at a drive-through or something like that, getting them snacks, and I'm like, that's just crazy to see.
Yeah,
so
I've seen I've seen similar videos.
So yeah, the music does play a part, but in the end, right?
I gotta say, when I see those videos, I think they may be pretending to be like the people they see in maybe rap music, but I think. Because some of these videos, I don't know what you saw, but I've seen some of these kids. I'm like, they're really throwing up like serious gang. Like I've seen real gang members do stuff like this, and the way they're holding that gun, I think they're acting like people maybe a little bit closer to their community, in my opinion. Like I think they know people like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's all over Instagram too. The way they do their lives is this particular way. So it's definitely easy to emulate.
Yeah, and I mean, is it really the rap music fault? I mean, if there wasn't like an audience for it in the first place, it wouldn't like the genre you're saying, it wouldn't be like out there. I don't know, man. It's a tricky thing because, I mean, I used to listen to it and I would understand what I'm listening to, and if you even more that I understand it, I can even listen to it now and it wouldn't faze me, because you would listen to it and get an identity off of it. And then it will drive you to do things. But really, is it the rap music, or you already compromised from not having a father around and the mother raises, so you're emotional and you're looking for an escape, and you just identify with this emotional, ego-driven music that is, it push you to have sex and do all of these crazy things off the world. So I kind of understand that part. And you mentioned even now the white girls are more into it from what I've seen.
Yeah.
So yeah, and there's a new rise of Christian rap kind of genre music, and it's no different. So I'm like,
is that so?
It's really no different.
Like one of the top 100 Billboard songs was like a Christian song the other day.
Yeah, and really
like #1. But I don't even know what that means.
So it's how it makes you feel, and then you identify it like, oh yeah, Jesus is our Lord, and all of this, and it makes you feel good, right? So
and even that, see. You would think so. Here, bringing that up, you're basically like bringing up the conversation again, and you'd think, well, one side would maybe say, well, this is an example of what that super chatter was talking about. If you could have everybody what if all the top songs were Christian? What would society look like? Honestly, if you ask me, you might assume, well, it would be this like super moral, amazing society. I think it would be you would just have a country full of the Christians you have today, which is what you have. Yeah, I bet you would be pretty decent in a lot of ways, but maybe they'll get invaded by, like some immigrant by immigrants saying, hey, you need to, we're refugees. You understand? You need to save us, and then they'll take over your country. Like, I think if we're gonna try and extrapolate what Eric was bringing out, if you had a country, if we had top 100 were all no rap songs, it was all just Christian songs, you would just have, I think, the Christians today. which are not right. They have their problems too. So it is a cultural language. It just describes the people there and what they're going through.
Yeah, something to fall back on, I guess. You make a great point, actually, when you say if it was all just Christian music, this soft-heartedly Christian, mama-driven kind of religion. Because I used to go to a church, and I was like, I knew something was wrong, and I'm like, I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, this is just they would do concert, and then the girls, they would dress skimpy, and I'm like, and when they're performing, it's like they're in these, these leggings and stuff. I'm like, there's something wrong. And I couldn't put my finger on it really well until like I find JLP, and I'm like, okay, I knew something was wrong. I just couldn't really put my finger on it,
Totally.
So, I don't know. It's yeah.
Wow, man. Yeah, it's got some people talking about it too. What the influences are, rap culture. Anything else on this, Jermaine?
No, that's my little take there, Nick.
Well, sir, appreciate your call. Call me again.
All right, man. Cheers. Bye.
888-775-3773. Let's see here. Okay. So Carver I think he sent this yesterday. We didn't get to read it. And he wrote, "It's still real to me, damn it, guy, finally vindicated." And so I wasn't sure what he meant at first. But then I remembered. One of those videos, probably in the halls of internet history, immortalized. Some of you might remember this. I don't know how online you have been, how old you are. Knowing this clip might reveal your age, maybe. But it's about a wrestling fan. So thanks for the super chat, Carver. Then we'll get back to calls. If you remember, this is probably right in response to the wrestling guy versus Raja Jackson and all that mess. Carver wrote, "Voters aren't dumb, but most don't speak English." And then he gave another super chat. "It's still real to me, damn it, guy, finally vindicated." And this is him. Wrestling fan cries. Legendary video, call it. In fact, this might be the orig. 18 years ago, only 400,000 views. I don't know. The original. See, look, it even has the E-Bombs World. Look at this, folks. It even has the E-Bombs World watermark. Now, that was an early website full of funny clips, okay? People uploaded. It was before YouTube. You uploaded clips. You uploaded your funny animations, your little flash animations you made. You put it on E-Bombs World.
Jeff, where are you? Right there.
Yeah. I just want to thank each and every one of y'all for all you've done to your bodies. It's still real to me, damn it. I mean, thank you.
Easy, man.
Thank y'all guys. Y'all are awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Funk, for saying what needed to be said. I don't want to see another one of these.
Well, thank you.
Wrestling fan, it's still real to me. It was real to him. I mean, I remember they brought him on that Tosh.0 show years later. I mean, that was pretty genius of him. Let me find these internet viral people and bring them on the show. It's still real to me. Rick, Hampton, Virginia, man. I appreciate your call. You're on the air.
What's up, brother Nick? Rick calling from Hampton, VA, my brother.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, man.
Man, did you hear the governor, man, the clip Jesse played earlier today, the Illinois governor?
I saw that. I did.
Yeah, and then talking about, well, he should be going to the arrested with a high crime, but they so deceptive, man. They, like we was talking about yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't share that the high crime areas in the red states were blue.
That's amazing.
He didn't
The
share that.
cities, right?
Say again?
The cities.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's
Absolutely.
and that's a fact, huh?
Yep.
The cities he was
He didn't
talking
share
about
that.
were blue, even if they were in a red state.
Yep, even though it was in the red state. If you look, I can just about guarantee you, if you look at, you can go on the map and look yourself.
You drag,
And just
you
look at the
dragging
red
a
cities they
you
call.
dragging a wheeled appliance behind you while you walk down some steps.
No. I'm working on there's a fan motor right now.
No problem.
As
No,
I'm
no.
talking to
I
you.
was just trying to guess. You know, it sounded like in my head like you were dragging a wheeled appliance behind you, and it was slamming down every step you walked. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Don't worry about
I'm
that, Rick.
sorry, man.
No, apology accepted. Look, hey, it was just a little humorous moment. Listen, you were saying about this, please.
Yeah, and what I was saying is also, it's just that if you go to all the states they call, which is Alabama, they call Mississippi. I want to say called Louisiana, I think.
Yeah.
If you can just take Louisiana, I can just about guarantee you that New Orleans and Baton Rouge has most of your crime, and Shreveport, all them cities, and I can guarantee you they're blue.
Amazing. You said Shreveport? We
They're
could probably
blue.
even look that up. You know what's amazing about this? You know why I like hearing this? And you know, that's crazy, right? You don't want to like hearing about crime or anything like that, and that's not what I like. But I got to say, there's something I like about what you're saying. Should it be true? And I have to say it must be. Because you hear about Republican, Democrat, and you kind of look, if you've been paying attention for a number of years, you start learning and realizing that there's not much difference at times. The Republicans, for example, are cool with with illegal immigration in many cases. And you think, when you learn these things, you're like, wow, you know, I don't even care about blue, red. It's confusing anyways. But there's something very simple and what's it called? Just simple about this that I like, because if it turns out that, yeah, these Democrat-run areas devolve into this, yeah, then it does make the world a little bit simpler. Yeah, when you tell people you are allowed to be mad because somebody else is the fault of your problem, some specter of racism, white people, the government, Trump, etc. And it turns out any place that you run with such a mentality turns out into a hellhole, it makes things a little simple for me, and I do like hearing that, man.
You know, it just that, man. The Democrats just prefer keeping people fearful. Look at COVID. When COVID came, they bread and butter was fear mongering people, man. They even had families divided during that time. You remember when COVID came?
Yes.
I mean, family was saying, if you ain't get the shot, don't come over my house for Thanksgiving.
Wow.
You know, say, don't come over here, man.
Right.
You know, and then turned out most of the people that got the shots were getting it twice as fast.
Oh, is that true? Is that true? Is that
Yes,
so?
sir. Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of people get blood clots from getting all those COVID shots.
Wow. I'm not familiar with the literature on this.
And, well, they didn't want to tell you because they knew that if that would have really destroyed, because they used that, you know, for you know, rig the election, in my opinion. Oops, I can't say that.
Opinions said on this show by my callers, etc. Don't
that's my opinion, guys.
Don't necessarily represent Bond, Jesse Lee Peterson, or the American Anchor Baby, or the Hake Report. Appreciate your call.
So,
you were
yes,
saying,
sir, you know, and that's it, man. I just encourage people, man, go out there and look for yourself, man. You know, like you'll hear the Democrats saying it's a good economy, ain't nothing high. Then they go around saying more blacks are not working due to Trump. I just tell them, if nothing else, take advantage of the tax cuts the president has allowed us to take. People's 401ks are booming right now.
Is that so? Well, there you go.
Yes, sir.
Well, there you go. We're shout out to that.
But yet, they will bleed the media and run to the bank with it. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know what to say, man. Just saying it's hard to overcome the media. I'm not saying it can't be overcame, but you get what I'm saying, man.
It should make you want to totally. It should, honestly, it should make you want to overcome identities. It should make you want to be like, okay, I'm not. Look, are you telling me? Let's say you're a black person. It could be. This can extend around though. But let's say you're a black person. You're in Chicago, and you're like, wow, and they're clapping and they're clapping, and Brandon Johnson's on the stage. He's like, it's racism and F Donald Trump. He didn't say F, but he's like, forget that guy. It should make you. Shouldn't that make you want to be like, well, you know what? I'm not teaming up with anybody. I'm watching out for me. I'm paying attention to my world. I'm not gonna team up with a black and be a black person or be a this or that person, and just kind of like see the truth, right? And the truth in that scenario would be, okay, these people do not care about crime. They are willing to live like this and willing to keep voting it in. So, I'm gonna watch for me.
But
take care.
But you know what? If they vote for Brandon Johnson, and you see how the people feel about him, and he wins, I really believe these elections are rigged because they want the Democrats to stay in.
Is that something you notice? Like you notice like a major dislike of Brandon Johnson?
Oh yes, sir. Man, this guy's he's sort of letting immigrants in, crime is out the way, and the only thing the Democrats I would suggest is mental health. You already got those services. You know what I mean?
That's true.
You already have those services.
Well, I hear what you're saying, Rick. I really do have to go here in the last minute of the show. Go ahead.
Oh, man, I didn't realize it. Well, anyway, man.
Yeah.
Love you guys, man. It's coming to Labor Day weekend. Everybody enjoy this country that we have the opportunity to make wealth. We even have the opportunity to be poor if we choose to. And enjoy the labor. Happy Men's Month. And I'll talk to you tomorrow, Brother Nick. Love y'all.
Rick, man, call me again. Always a pleasure. Take care.
Yes, sir. Likewise. Thank you.
Right on. 888-775-3773. Although, really no point in calling right now, folks, because we got to go. That's pretty much the show. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me see here. Hold on here. That is the show. We did the topics, the super chats, the things. Oh, we got one from Eric. How you doing, Eric? Man, I appreciate your generosity here. And you know what? This is a nice length here. This is like we can chew on this. You have interesting topics to bring up. I mean, look at all the callers you spawned. I appreciate it, Eric. And those in the chat that are a little bit more sensitive, we'll let the men talk here, right, Eric? But that's awesome. I appreciate the generosity. How about we get into this tomorrow? We really are here in the last few minutes of the show, overtime technically in another sense. But thank you, man. Buymeacoffee.com/anchor, baby. I sent the last coffee in the middle of your flight on Friday because it seemed like an appropriate time. So you know what? It would be absolutely appropriate again tomorrow, Eric. It was an extensive read because I responded to every question, disagreement, or assumption you made regarding our previous conversation. Right? And this is why I should have read it all the way through. Because, yeah, you really did. You really did go through a lot of things there. This time you said, don't you know that all evil is the same? Ooh, interesting. Eric says, that's not true. You're conflating unconsciousness with evil. Murder and vandalism are varying depths of darkness, but they're both created by unconscious egoic identification. Interesting, sir. And you know what? It would be a little bit maybe obtuse if I wasn't, let's say I'm talking to just a regular person and I'm not hitting them with all my learnings, all of my learnings of the ego. I'm just trying to have a regular conversation. Well, I don't know, Eric. See, this is why this requires some time. We'll leave it for tomorrow. But look, even if I'm having a normal conversation with someone, I would think to myself, sure, hey, regular person, normie, I would say to them, yes, I think I can say, yeah, I don't, in a physical sense, I don't see someone lying having the same impact than someone killing someone, right? They're materially different. And yet, I would maintain they have a similar source. Look, let's talk about it at length tomorrow. Eric, appreciate your coffees on this and all my super chatters, callers, supporters. I got to go. Take care for now. More American Anchor Baby tomorrow. Take care. See you tomorrow.
The views, information, thoughts, and opinions expressed during this show are the individual's own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of the JLP Network or Bond. Their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. The material and information presented here is for general information purposes only. The JLP Network and Bond name and all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owner, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service.